Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. I am really excited to share with you my 2026 Hobonichi Weeks setup. I think I did my A6 day free setup a few weeks ago. Gonna do this one today, and then I think honestly it'll be late November when I do my Hobonichi Cousin, just because I'm waiting on a few more things to come in to do that one. But anyways, I don't know if you can tell, but I seem to have caught a cold and my voice is a little hoarse, which isn't ideal, but hopefully this is still somewhat bearable to watch. I'm gonna move my coffee out of the way. So some quick information. This is the beautiful Port at Dawn cover that I decided to go with. And this is the regular Hobonichi Weeks, so not the mega. And this is also the Japanese version. I always get questions about why I choose the Japanese version versus the English version. I don't really have any like big rational reasons. Number one, I was born in Japan, so I have some sentimental ties to Japan. And number two, Hobonichi is obviously a Japanese company, and they only like recently started doing English versions, and I just feel like the vibes are different. I think part of the charm is the Japanese text that admittedly I forgot all of my Japanese, so I can't read it, but for some reason I just find it a lot more charming than English. So yeah, I really don't have a rational reason for that. This clear cover that I have on is just the official Hobonichi cover. I get this every year and it fits perfectly. And as you can see, I put on this little Cloud 2026 vinyl from my store. This is a transparent vinyl, so the border is transparent, but the sticker itself is actually opaque. I will say I am a little bit conflicted by this, just because this cover is so beautiful and serene, and I feel like just adding this like random digitally drawn vinyl is kind of strange. I don't know, I will see as time goes on. So let's move on to the inner cover area. So the clear cover has this little pocket, and this is where I keep my plastic washi cards. I just wrap some washi tapes around a few times, and this makes it easier to decorate, especially when I'm planning on the go. And oh my gosh, I should mention what this planner is going to be for. So my Hobonichi Weeks, similar to 2025, is going to be for keeping track of my health, fitness, and I'm going to involve a little bit more traveling as well. So it's not going to be a place for me to write down my to-do list or plan out my days, but more so for record keeping. So yeah, I guess my layouts won't really be relevant to many people, but I do hope you're still able to find some inspiration. And I think this might be my favorite part of the setup, and I actually did this just this morning. So these are a bunch of foiled sticker seals that I have in my store, and I have released a lot over the years. Some are like rose gold, some are brown, some are gold, etc. So I just picked out a bunch of these like holographic silver ones because I think it matches the overall aesthetic of this planner very well. Also, somebody mentioned that my nails match too. Everything's matching. Unintentionally though. Initially, I just put down the 2026 sticker down here because I wanted to keep this simple. But this morning, right before I was about to film this video, I just thought I should cover this entire page with stickers. There were a few gaps where I didn't have stickers to fit, so I just ended up using some markers to draw little stars, moons, sparkles, and also like these wiggly lines from the markers. Also, I did bring out my scissors just to make things fit a little better. For example, I had this sticker of the earth from the travel set, and the emoji, this was like a misfit one where the emoji eyes and mouth were kind of like rubbed off. So I thought it was actually perfect because I just snipped off the emoji and part of the globe, and I put it against the edge of the paper. And I also did the same thing with the sticker of the sticker sheet. And then the fountain pen ones have this like row of just the nibs, so I put that at the top, which I think was perfect because now we have designs coming off the edge on the top, side, and bottom. And yeah, overall I'm really happy with how this turned out. The only thing that I don't really like is this squiggle. I use this Stabilo Boss highlighter, and I don't know, in my head I remembered it to be more blue. It's a little too green for my liking, but that's okay. Let's move on. This is a little info card that came with this particular planner. I'm not sure if the other ones do, but this is a little background of the artist, and I thought this was really meaningful, so I wanted to keep it with me. I know this is upside down. I'm gonna fix it later. Okay, then this page is really simple. I just have a little happy emoji head with a headband. It is bothering me though that this page somehow it is very crooked. I think there's something that's not fully glued correctly or something, but it is what it is. I do want to add some vellums and other fun accessories to this, but unfortunately the artist behind TheCoffeeMonsterzCO is slacking a little bit, and she has not worked on that yet, so it'll have to come later. Okay, I think that's all I have to say. Moving on to the Year at a Glance page. I am so excited to come out with this Hobonichi Weeks yearly kit page for the 2026 collection. This isn't available right now. It'll be coming out on October 30th. With a lot of the things that I sell in my store, it comes out of just like my personal wishes for my own planner, and then I just put it up in store. So I'm gonna talk about these two sections together. So number one, I wanted a way to decorate the perpetual calendar section, so I created these rounded labels, and it still shows the monthly numbers. It just covers up the abbreviated months. Now this is one of the first prototypes, and the final sheet isn't going to look like this because I did realize that the English version of the Hobonichi Weeks looks slightly different, and this label wouldn't cover the entire text. So long story short, this has been reformatted so that it can be modified for the English version. But yeah, I think this looks really good, and it's a really subtle way to add a little bit of color and decoration. Another struggle of mine that I have every single year with the Hobonichi Weeks is the numbers on the side. So this is my steps and workouts tracker, and I use the Mildliner Highlighters to color code my steps. And every time there is the 1 to 31 label, I always accidentally color on the number instead of the days of the week. It happened 4 times over here, another time over here, and I was like, dude, I gotta stop doing this, oh my gosh. And then it happened again over here. So my solution is covering it up with these number strips so that it's like a little bit distinguished, and I don't like on autopilot try to shade in the numbers. Okay, I will come back to this tracker. Back to the perpetual calendar. This sheet also has this like giant note box, and this basically covers the pre-printed holidays, which I didn't have a sticker for last year. It's not too big of a deal, but I thought, you know, if you wanted to add a quotation there or some important dates, then I think this grid box would be perfect. This sheet also comes with a bunch of titles, and it comes with 2025 and 2027 so that you can add a little bit more decoration to this page. Because I did this first, later on when I came here to put down the vinyl sticker, the calendar vinyl, the top didn't really fit, so I just cut it off. And I actually think I prefer it this way. I suppose like if you don't plan on putting the 2026 header there, you can fit the entire vinyl. I really like how this looks. I do think I put this on crooked because, as you can see, the gap is inconsistent, but that is okay. This is my steps and workouts, which is very similar to this year. I'm very satisfied with how this looks, and it makes me very proud to see, except for the past 2 months-ish, where I've just been dealing with thing after thing. Hopefully I can end off 2025 on a better note and go into 2026 on a healthier note as well. But yeah, the only thing that I have decided to change for 2026 is this top section. So For this year, I tallied up the number of days where I had 10,000, 15, 20, 25, and 30,000 steps. I mean, this was fine, but I feel like this data was basically meaningless for me. And then I also had a section for the monthly average, which this part was actually kind of interesting. So my modification for next year is that the heart is also going to be where I put down the monthly average, because again, I did find that interesting and somewhat useful. And then underneath, I'm going to make this kind of like a graph. That is also why the little circles are on the line itself rather than between the lines. And obviously I haven't started this, so I can't really show you what I mean, but hopefully throughout the year I can do some updates and show you what the graph is going to look like. And then for the color codes, I just use this set of Mildliners, and I have been using this color code for the past few years, so it's basically ingrained in my brain. And as a very quick explanation, I shade in the days of the week with whatever step count it is for that day. So all of the yellow is 30,000 steps, but I have some like reds and browns, etc. And then beside that, I write down a 3-letter code for the workout that I do for that day. The start is when I ended up walking 40,000 steps because I don't have a color code for that. And then the bars are for when I travel, because I tend to be inconsistent with my workouts when I'm traveling. All right, moving on to the monthly section. So similar to this year, I also have a very low maintenance tracker for my mental health. So I have codes for depression, anxiety, insomnia, a struggle day mental, and a struggle day physical. So for the struggle day mental, that is basically when I have a really hard few days maybe, but I am very careful about not calling it a depression, just because for me, it's very different. And then for struggle day physical, it is when, not just like when I'm really tired, but I have days where I am very, very, very sluggish, and it's a very distinct feeling that only I personally know. So yeah, this is more of a personal thing. So essentially, if I'm going through a really tough period with my anxiety, I might draw little red dots on the applicable days. And the other thing that I'm going to use my monthly section for is traveling. I think this would be where I want to plan out some of my itinerary and stuff. Not too sure yet, but I will keep you updated. I haven't decided whether I'm going to use more of the Hobonichi Weeks kit, but for now, I just wanted to put down the artist box because it makes me happy. I worked really hard on these, so here they are. Okay, I guess this is where I will quickly talk about the tabs. Not much to say. This is one of the new sets that came out this year, and as the creator of these products, I do get to be a little bit cheeky and make colorways that perfectly match the covers that I go with. So yeah, this is the colorway called Dawn. I always get questions about which page I put the tabs on exactly, and for me the most important part is that I am consistent throughout the entire thing. So what I wanted is that every time I flip the tab like this, it brings me to the first of the month. Even though, like for example, most of this week is January, the first of the month is still part of February. So I want it to be so that if I flip February, I get to the first. Another example, May, flip it, and May 1st is here. The thing that I don't want is to flip a tab and then having to like flip it back to find what I need. So yeah, hopefully that made sense. So basically for me, every time I flip a tab, it brings me to the first of the month. For the weekly section, I'm going to keep the exact same layout as this year because it has worked for me, so nothing really needs to be changed. I just use a pencil to divide up the columns. The first narrow column is going to be for tracking my outdoor runs. The wider column is for my gym workouts and basically like weight training. I then extend the horizontal line, also with a pencil, onto the right page. And this is where I write down all of my daily highlights, although like recently I have been using it to track my hive symptoms. And then my habit tracker, this week section, and on sale at the grocery store. And then this last pencil flips to the note page section. I haven't thought about what I'm gonna do for the 365-day thing. I have never used this page. For me, if I don't have a purpose for a page, I don't really force myself to use it. Like the Hobonichi gives you a bunch of like extra pages like this. If I don't have a purpose, I'm not gonna stress out over it. This is the notes section, and I also used one of the headers over here. Also put down this cute little vinyl, and this is my index. Travel packing list, travel details, cleaning, wish list, health goals, and produce stickers. So up first is my travel packing list, and I did something very similar for 2025 as well. This is a list of things that I basically bring with me during every one of my trips, no matter how long. And then at the top, I basically just like turn it around and I write down the city. So maybe Chicago or New York or something, and then I can just like check things off down here. This just saves me from writing down this exact same list every time I travel. I just put down this travel washi at the bottom. Then for travel details, I'm a very anxious traveler, and I know like things always go wrong, especially when traveling, but it feels better for me to have like a very defined plan. So for example, with all of my travels, I always have like the exact time I need to leave my house, when I'm estimated to arrive at the airport, when I need to board my flight. I need to have all of my addresses sorted, etc. So I basically split this into columns, and again, when I do have my travel plans, I will write the city at the top, and then I can just fill in this information without having to rewrite these headers for every trip. And I did leave an empty page in case I need more space. I guess I left several empty pages. Okay, then this is my cleaning tracker. I did a cleaning tracker for 2025 as well, but it was unsustainable and a bit too ambitious on my part. So yeah, I simplified this a lot more. And this is basically how I want to track like cleaning stuff that you don't normally clean. Numbers 1 through 12 to indicate the month. And then examples are like cleaning the top of the fridge, the higher cupboards, the sides of my kitchen island, toaster crumb tray, throw pillows, walking pad, things like that. So for example, if I do a fridge deep clean in January, then I will just do a little check mark here so that I know I already cleaned it in January. And I think this will just be helpful for me to keep track of like things that I should clean several times a year, but I can't really remember when the last time it was. Hopefully this is helpful for me. And I did leave a bunch of empty spaces just in case I think of something. If you have any suggestions on what I can add here, let me know. This is my wish list page, which I am really excited to fill out. Not much to say though. This is basically where I will just like make a little doodle and write about things that I want. And my first entry is a Le perfume. And I'm thinking of getting this perfume after I 100% finish the 2026 collection. We will see. Then I have my health and fitness goals, which I have not filled out yet, so I will probably include this in a future update video. My produce tracker section. So this used to be part of my, or I guess it still is, part of my Hobonichi Cousin for this year. But I think for next year, I will move it to my Hobonichi weeks. For my Hobonichi Cousin, they only give you a few note pages in the back, and I actually find myself running out of pages. However, the Hobonichi weeks, they give you so many grid pages, and I never know what to do with them, especially because I don't use this very much. It's just to keep track of my health and fitness. So yeah, I think I'm gonna move my produce stickers over here, and this way it frees up some space in my Hobonichi Cousin. Okay, so then for my 100 section, this one I also just like did very last minute. So for this year, I made my 100 section a place to track my running. As you can see, I stopped filling it out. not because I didn't run, but rather because I run a little bit too much. I basically run every day. As you can see in January, by January 30th, I already filled out 25. So I basically didn't run 5 days in January. So I realized that directly tracking my running on this page was a little bit stupid. So my modification for 2026 is that I am going to track my 110K runs, so 10 kilometers. And I think that is a lot better because it is challenging for sure, because I definitely don't run 10K every time, but it is still somewhat feasible. So yeah, and I think it is also very satisfying because if I do happen to run 110Ks in 2026, that means I would have run over a million kilometers. So I think that'll be really cool. We'll see. And I also put down this Gym Goers 2.0 washi tape. The way I ripped this washi, I don't really like it. Let me fix that. Oh, by the way, the washi that I just put to the side, I will repurpose it for my spread today, so don't worry, I am not wasting it. I think it'll look better if I make it a straight edge. Yeah, I like that. Wonderful. Let's move on. Okay, the last little bit of this setup. Oh, speaking of like wasting washi, I'm gonna make this section a washi dump for the end of the washi that I often rip up. I know this won't be enough space for all of my washi scraps for the entire year, but I think I'll just use it until I cover it up, and then maybe I'll like start putting it on the other information pages or the grid pages. I don't know, but for now I think this will look really cute once it's all covered up. And then surprise, surprise, this is something that I started doing maybe 2 years ago, but I basically just take the backing of an empty sticker sheet. I use my tape runner and stick it to the back, and then I just put on some stickers that I think I could use, especially when I'm in a pinch and I don't have my entire sticker collection with me. This is what it looks like in my 2025 planner. As you can see, it is rather empty, and I do need to refill this soon. And I guess the very, very, very final thing that I can say is on the back, I have this vinyl, and it is like an achievement vinyl. I have not actually removed the peeling yet. Currently, I just used a little bit of tape runner because I'm not sure I want to keep it here. I might still just like use the nutrition facts vinyl instead. So yeah, that is why I haven't stuck it down. I think I'm gonna go to the office and grab a nutrition facts vinyl. That is it for my Hobonichi week setup for next year. I'm really excited to start using this, and I feel like it is a completely different vibe from this year, so I'm excited for a little change. All right, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for bearing with me through my congested voice, and I will see you next week, hopefully. Take care and goodbye.